In every major crisis throughout history, there's one pattern that repeats itself without fail, and it happens in the first 72 hours. While most people are scrambling for food and water, those in power are already moving to seize something far more valuable. Today, I'm going to show you the 10 items that will disappear first, not through scarcity, but through confiscation. And more importantly, how to keep them hidden when everyone else loses theirs. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly which items make you a target during a collapse, why authorities and looters go after them first, and the proven concealment strategies that could mean the difference between independence and complete vulnerability. This isn't theory, it's pattern recognition from every major crisis in modern history. Welcome to Prep Pantry, where we cut through the noise and give you real-world survival strategies that actually work. If you're serious about protecting what you've built, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss critical information that could save everything you've prepared for. Now, before we dive into the list, you need to understand something fundamental. You've probably heard of the rule of threes in survival: 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. But there's another rule that's rarely discussed: the rule of confiscation. In just 3 seconds, someone can undo years of preparation if you haven't concealed what matters most. This isn't paranoia, it's pattern recognition. Every collapse follows the same script. Those with power, or those desperate for it, move quickly to seize whatever gives others independence. The most valuable items aren't just food and ammunition, but the force multipliers, tools of freedom, defense, communication, mobility, and health. So let's break down each item, why it's targeted, and how to protect it. Starting with number 1, radios and communication gear. In a crisis, information is the most valuable and dangerous resource. Radios, scanners, and satellite gear give you the ability to hear beyond the official narrative, coordinate with your group, and track local movement. That's real power, and both authorities and opportunists want to control it. Governments may justify radio seizures in the name of national security or preventing misinformation. During martial law, unregistered communication equipment is often restricted or confiscated. Think about it. If they control the flow of information, they control the narrative. They control what people believe is happening, what's safe, what's dangerous, and most importantly, what's acceptable. But it's not just authorities you need to worry about. Looters and power-hungry locals see radios as gold for spying on others, coordinating raids, or trading for other high-value items. A working radio in a communication blackout is worth more than food to the right person. So how do you protect your communication gear? First, Faraday protection is essential. Shield your devices from electromagnetic pulses and keep them off the radar. Store transmitters separately from their power sources. This adds an extra layer of security if one cache is discovered. Use small, collapsible antennas that can be hidden from view when not in use. A giant antenna on your roof is basically a billboard advertising your capabilities. For concealment, think creatively. False walls, hollow furniture, or buried PVC tubes work exceptionally well. Never store all your communication gear in one place. Have backups, use encrypted channels when possible, and rotate your batteries discreetly. Charge them at night, away from windows, away from prying eyes. A hidden radio is your link to awareness, coordination, and survival. It's your early warning system. It's how you know when danger is coming before it arrives at your door. Treat it as the lifeline it is. Number 2, fuel and propane. When the grid collapses, fuel becomes the heartbeat of survival. It powers mobility, provides warmth, and generates electricity. Without it, you're stuck, cold, and powerless. This is exactly why it becomes an immediate target. Governments may enforce rationing laws and mandatory inspections, claiming your backup fuel is needed for critical services. They'll say it's for hospitals, for emergency vehicles, for the greater good. And maybe some of it is. But the reality is, confiscating private fuel stores is also about control. If you can't move, you can't leave. If you can't power a generator, you're dependent on them for information and resources. Desperate neighbors and organized looters see fuel as pure opportunity. It's pure gold when gas stations are empty and supply chains are broken. A full tank of propane or a few jerry cans of gasoline can be traded for just about anything, or used to power their own survival. So how do you protect your fuel? Dispersion is critical. Store fuel in smaller containers across multiple locations rather than one big tank that screams target. Camouflage your storage. Paint tanks in earth tones to blend with your environment. Hide them in sheds. Bury them in shallow caches, or disguise them inside old, non-functional vehicles that look abandoned. Never rag about your fuel stores. Don't tell neighbors, don't post about it online, don't let anyone know you're prepared in this area. Fuel powers your generator, your stove, your vehicle, your lifeline to mobility and warmth. Without it, you're trapped and vulnerable. Treat it with the same secrecy you'd give to ammunition or medicine. Number 3, cash and silver. Physical currency, cash, silver, gold, becomes a prime target when financial systems collapse. This has happened repeatedly throughout history. Governments freeze withdrawals, void old currency notes, or force new emergency money that's worth a fraction of what you had.
Precious metals may be seized for national reserves under emergency powers, just like what happened in the United States in 1933 when gold ownership was criminalized. Criminals and authorities alike want what you have, because physical wealth is the only wealth that matters when digital systems fail. Your bank account means nothing when the banks are closed. Your credit cards are worthless when the networks are down. But cash, silver, and gold, they're universal, they're tangible, and they're power. So how do you protect your wealth? Diversify your concealment. Never store all your cash or silver in one place, and whatever you do, avoid obvious safes. Safes are the first thing looters look for. Instead, use deceptive hiding spots, sealed containers inside walls, false drawer bottoms, buried caches in waterproof tubes. Get creative. Use decoys. Keep small, visible amounts of cash or silver in a predictable location. When someone finds it, they'll think that's all you have and move on. Your real stash stays hidden. When you need to trade, do it discreetly within trusted networks and use small denominations so you don't reveal the extent of your wealth. In a post-collapsed world, wealth is measured by what you can hide and protect, not what you own on paper. Treat cash and silver as the lifeblood of your independence, because that's exactly what they are. Number 5, antibiotics and essential medicines. When hospitals close and pharmacies are looted or shut down, medicine becomes treasure. We're not just talking about prescription medications for chronic conditions. We're talking about antibiotics, pain relievers, anti-inflammatories, and life-saving drugs. In a prolonged crisis, these become worth more than gold because they can mean the difference between life and death. Authorities may seize private medical supplies for redistribution to central medical facilities or emergency clinics. They'll justify it as serving the greater good, ensuring medicine goes where it's needed most. Meanwhile, looters and desperate neighbors will target anyone suspected of having medical stockpiles. If word gets out that you have antibiotics, expect visitors, and not the friendly kind. So how do you protect your medical supplies? Operational security is paramount. Never advertise your medical preps. Don't post photos of your medicine cabinet online. Don't casually mention to neighbors that you're stocked up. Keep it completely silent. Store your medicines in multiple caches across different locations. Use unassuming containers, old vitamin bottles, containers with pet medication labels, anything that doesn't scream valuable medicine. Create decoys by keeping a small, visible amount of common over-the-counter medications. Let that be found while your real stock stays hidden elsewhere. Extend shelf life by using sealed Mylar bags with desiccants to prevent moisture damage. Store in cool, dark locations. Consider alternate sites. Bury supplies in PVC tubes. Hide them in outbuildings or create false compartments in household furniture. And here's something critical. Learn basic medical skills. Wound care, infection management, and herbal substitutes for common medications. This knowledge makes you less dependent on any single bottle and more capable of treating problems when supplies run low. Guard your medical supplies as if they were oxygen, because in a serious crisis, they might as well be. Number 6, seeds and gardening stock. Seeds are renewable calories, food for generations. A single packet of heirloom seeds can feed a family for years if properly saved and replanted. This is exactly why they're targeted. In a prolonged collapse, the ability to grow your own food is ultimate independence. Governments and hungry neighbors may confiscate gardening supplies under the guise of community programs or mandatory food redistribution. They'll claim it's for collective gardens, for ensuring everyone has access to food. But the reality is, once your seeds are taken, your ability to sustain yourself long-term vanishes. Plus, seeds are small, portable, and extremely valuable for barter. Someone with a stockpile of diverse heirloom seeds has leverage.
That's power, and in a crisis, power is always a target. So how do you protect your seeds? Break up your storage. Vacuum seal seed packets and spread them across multiple hidden spots throughout your property and even off-site if possible. Use decoy storage. Keep a harmless-looking seed box visible with common, inexpensive seeds. Hide your heirloom and rare varieties deep where they won't be found. Build redundancy with extra hand tools, watering methods, and seed trays stored in outbuildings or buried caches. Camouflage your containers by labeling them as bird feed, craft supplies, or organic samples. Use metal tins or waterproof mylar bags to protect against moisture and pests. Consider burying some of your seed stock in waterproof tubes away from your primary location. If your home is compromised, you still have the ability to grow food elsewhere. Seeds are your future calories, your long-term survival, your independence from any system. Protect them like your life depends on it, because it does. Number 7, body armor. Body armor, plates, vests, helmets, becomes restricted material fast in a crisis. It represents personal protection that authorities may view as threatening to their control, and it's something malicious and organized groups desperately want. Authorities may justify confiscation under public safety laws, claiming that body armor should only be in the hands of law enforcement and military. They'll say it's to prevent criminals from using it, to reduce violence, to maintain order. But the underlying reason is control. An armed and armored population is much harder to dominate than an unarmed, unprotected one. Meanwhile, looters and forming militias hunt for body armor because it's a massive advantage in any confrontation. Whoever has protection has a better chance of survival in violent encounters, and violence tends to escalate rapidly when societal structures break down. So how do you protect your armor? Deep concealment is non-negotiable. Use false walls, hidden compartments, or disguised storage areas that aren't obvious even during a thorough search. Vacuum seal plates and store them in dry PVC tubes buried underground or hidden in crawl spaces. Split your sets. Keep one accessible vest for immediate use, but store your best, most complete set elsewhere as insurance. If your primary location is compromised, you still have protection available. And this is critical. Never brag about owning body armor. Don't post pictures online. Don't mention it to neighbors or acquaintances. Don't wear it casually or show it off. The moment people know you have it, you become a target for both confiscation and theft. Body armor is your last line of defense in a violent encounter. It could be the difference between a survivable wound and a fatal one. Hide it like your life depends on it, because it absolutely might. Number 8, large water containers. Water is the ultimate lifeline. You can survive weeks without food, but only days without water. This makes large water storage containers, drums, totes, multi-gallon jugs highly visible and prime targets for both authorities and desperate people. In a water crisis, governments may claim eminent domain over private water storage, redistributing it to central locations or priority facilities. They'll justify it as ensuring fair distribution, preventing hoarding, serving the community. But what it really does is make you dependent on them for your most basic survival need. Looters and neighbors see large water containers and immediately know you're prepared. That makes you a target. Water is heavy, hard to transport, and absolutely essential. If they can take yours, they don't have to find their own. So how do you protect your water? Camouflage is essential for any large containers you can't hide completely. Paint barrels and earth tones to match your environment. Hide them in brush, under decks, behind enclosures, or inside structures that blend in. Create fake utility boxes or mask your water storage with sheds that look like they serve another purpose: tool storage, lawn equipment, garbage bins. Bury water tanks partially or completely underground where they're out of sight. Even old buried septic tanks can be repurposed for clean water storage if properly cleaned and sealed. Spread out your storage. Instead of one massive container, use multiple smaller containers distributed across crawl spaces, basements, and discrete sheds. This reduces visibility and ensures that if one cache is discovered or compromised, you still have reserves. Add protective measures, locking lids, fenced enclosures, or even simple alarms that alert you if someone's tampering with your supply. And always have backup filtration. Stock water filters and purification tablets so you can source water from other places if your primary storage is taken. Water security is life itself. Without it, everything else you prepared for becomes meaningless. Guard it with the same seriousness you'd give to food or medicine, because it's even more critical. Number 9, medical gear. We talked about medicines earlier, but trauma supplies deserve their own category.
Tourniquets, chest seals, pressure dressings, trauma shears, hemostop gauze. These tools save lives when hospitals are unavailable. When medical facilities shut down or become inaccessible, your ability to treat serious injuries becomes one of the most valuable resources imaginable. This is exactly why medical gear gets targeted. Authorities may confiscate trauma supplies for emergency response teams or military use. Looters know these items are worth their weight in gold for trade, especially to other prepared individuals or groups. And desperate neighbors will come to you if they know you have the ability to save lives, which puts you in an impossible position. So how do you protect your medical gear? Use layered concealment.
Keep a small, obvious trauma kit for plausibility, a basic first aid kit with bandages, antiseptics, and common supplies. Let that be found if someone searches. But hide your real trauma tools in distributed caches throughout your property and potentially off-site. Vacuum seal your gear to protect it from moisture and contamination. Medical supplies are useless if they're dirty or degraded. Use decoys strategically. Let the visible kit be discovered while your real inventory of advanced trauma supplies stays hidden. Build redundancy by keeping duplicates at different locations or with trusted friends or family. If one cache is compromised, you still have backup supplies. And critically, make sure you know how to use everything in your kit. Medical gear is worthless if you don't have the skills to use it properly. Medical gear is leverage and a lifeline. It's what allows you to save yourself, your family, or potentially barter for other necessities by helping others. Protect it as seriously as you protect ammunition or food, because in many scenarios, it's just as critical to survival. Number 10, maps and navigation tools. In a world without GPS, without cell service, without digital navigation, paper maps and analog tools become priceless. Think about it. Most people today couldn't navigate across their own county without their smartphone. When those devices become useless, knowledge of terrain, roads, and alternative routes becomes a massive advantage. Authorities may control movement by seizing navigation resources, especially detailed topographical maps or maps showing infrastructure, resources, or strategic locations. If they can limit your knowledge of the area, they can limit where you go and what you can access. Meanwhile, looters and raiders value detailed maps because they reveal back roads, rural properties, water sources, and potential hiding spots. So, how do you protect your navigation resources? Redundancy is essential. Store multiple copies of critical maps in separate locations. Never rely on a single set. If your primary maps are taken or destroyed, you need backups immediately available. Make your maps durable. Laminate key maps so they're waterproof and tear-resistant. Keep a primary set in your bug-out bag, ready to go at a moment's notice. Hide backup copies by sealing them in PVC tubes or waterproof containers at off-site locations, buried caches, trusted friends' homes, secondary properties. Consider EMP protection for any digital navigation tools. Keep offline map apps and GPS units in Faraday cages or shielded containers so they survive electromagnetic pulses. But don't rely solely on digital. Always have paper backups. And here's something many people overlook. Memorize critical routes and landmarks. Study your local area until you can navigate key routes without any map at all. Knowledge that's in your head can never be confiscated, lost, or destroyed. Maps are tickets to freedom of movement. They're how you avoid checkpoints, find resources, escape danger, and navigate to safety. The more you know about your terrain, the more strategic advantage you have over anyone trying to control or corner you. Now let's talk about the bigger picture here. Survival isn't just about buying supplies and stacking them in your basement. It's about planning for protection, concealment, and operational security under pressure. The items we've covered today, communications, fuel, optics, cash, armor, navigation tools, medicines, seeds, medical gear, and water, they're not just supplies. They're your independence, your security, and your leverage when systems fail. If you hide and secure these items properly, you maintain freedom, mobility, and the ability to make critical decisions when everyone else is scrambling. But if you fail to conceal them, if you advertise your preparations, if you ignore operational security, then years of preparation can vanish overnight. So what does proper protection look like? It's layered concealment, using multiple hiding spots, decoys, and disguised containers so no single search can compromise everything. It's camouflage, blending your supplies with the environment so they don't stand out visually. It's dispersion, spreading resources across different locations so you have redundancy and insurance.
It's training, knowing how to actually use your gear and memorizing critical information so you're not dependent on any single tool or resource. And above all, it's secrecy. Never advertise your preparations online, to neighbors, to acquaintances, or even to some family members who can't keep quiet. The fewer people who know what you have, the safer those resources are. One missed step in operational security can turn months or even years of preparation into nothing overnight. The pattern is clear from every historical collapse. Those with power move quickly to seize what gives others independence. Your stockpile is only as strong as your ability to keep it hidden and protected. History teaches us that the first step in any crisis is the seizure of critical resources. The time to plan isn't when chaos is knocking at your door, it's now, while you still have time to think clearly, act deliberately, and build proper concealment into your preparation strategy. Protect your resources, sharpen your skills, and stay one step ahead. When the system falters, what you can keep will determine whether you survive or become another casualty of confiscation. If this video opened your eyes to threats you hadn't considered, smash that like button and subscribe to Prep Pantry for more real-world survival strategies. Drop a comment below telling me which item you're prioritizing first. I read every single one. Stay prepared, stay aware, and remember, what you can protect is what will save you.